Tell ICE to come and get you. Tell ICE to come and get you.
Tell him.
Tell ICE
You think
to
that
come
you
and
think
get
we
you.
scared of ICE?
How can you hit somebody that's behind you?
You let go of the brakes.
You are
Babe,
too close to
I'm
my
recording.
car.
I'm
That
recording.
means
Call
you're
the cops.
I don't give a call them.
Babe,
I don't give a
cops.
I
I'm
don't
recording.
give a You're behind me.
Okay, we'll find out.
We will
We'll find out.
You.
Let's find out.
You're behind me.
We're not even being disrespectful to you.
You got
Exactly.
out of my car.
You're cussing and everything. Already got it.
You did get out of your car. How can somebody hit you that's behind you?
Okay,
You're
we'll find out.
behind me.
Let's find
out. Man, get
We'll
your
find
stupid
out.
ass in the
We'll
car.
find out.
If my husband come, it's over for you.
Let him come.
He will come.
Let him
bitch.
come.
How you hit somebody?
Let him come.
Reggie, do you hear this clown? Yes, she's behind me. How can I let go of my brake? Are you serious? How can I let go of my brake?
Tell her she's
How
threatening.
How can I let go of my brake? You are Hispanic.
Just get in the car.
That's not a racial slur.
Just get in the
you
car.
Are, yeah, and back the up from my car. You are Hispanic. You are Hispanic. I said that you said that
It's all on video. It's all on video.
Exactly.
Video. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
Get the on. How y'all y'all do insurance scams all the time. I'm an insurance agent. Can't nobody run into you from the front.
Okay.
You are crazy. You're crazy. You're crazy. You're crazy. They are, but I can record too. You're behind me. How the I hit you from behind? You ran into me. Shit, stupid ass. And you a grown man sitting up here talking to a woman. Be a man. Go protect your woman.
I am protecting her.
Get in the car and protect her.
I'll be right here.
You're getting the car.
I need this.
I don't care because you're a fraud. That's why you need it.
Okay.
I hopped out of the car and y'all already started yelling at me. Bye. Tell the cops to find me.
Tell the cops to find me. The woman pointed her phone one last time toward us before turning away dramatically. Her car door slammed shut hard enough to echo across the intersection. Then the screen cuts to black. For a second, all you could hear was traffic in the background and my wife trying not to cry. And that's the part nobody saw in the viral clip. What people online saw later was a loud woman claiming she'd been targeted by scammers after a car accident. They saw her recording confidently, speaking like she already knew the internet would believe her. What they didn't see was what happened before the camera started rolling. And they definitely didn't see what happened after. Because at that moment, the woman screaming at us had no idea 3 separate cameras had already captured everything. My name is Daniel. That night, my wife Sophia and I were driving home after one of the longest days we'd had in months. Sophia worked 12-hour shifts at a rehabilitation center, and I'd spent the entire afternoon finishing deliveries across the city because 2 co-workers had called out sick. Neither of us had the energy to argue with anybody. We just wanted food, a shower, and sleep. Traffic was heavy, but not unusual for a Friday evening. Cars crawled through the intersection in uneven bursts while impatient drivers leaned on their horns every few seconds. We'd been sitting through 2 red lights already when Sophia first noticed the gray SUV behind us weaving between lanes. "You see that lady?" she asked quietly. I checked the mirror. The SUV had jumped from one lane to another twice in less than 30 seconds. Every movement was aggressive, speeding forward, braking suddenly, trying to squeeze into gaps too small for the vehicle. "Probably just in a hurry," I muttered. But Sophia kept watching. The woman driving looked irritated at everything around her. Even from a distance, we could see her throwing her hands up dramatically every few seconds whenever traffic slowed. At one point she nearly clipped another car trying to merge. "People drive crazy when they think everyone else is the problem," Sophia said. I remember laughing softly at that. I had no idea how important that sentence would become 20 minutes later. A few miles down the road, traffic finally loosened up. Cars began moving faster as we approached a commercial stretch filled with gas stations, fast food places, and blinking store signs. That's when the gray SUV suddenly sped around us. The driver cut sharply into our lane, leaving barely enough space between our front bumper and her rear one. "What is she doing?" Sophia whispered. I eased off the gas immediately. The SUV continued drifting aggressively between lanes for the next minute, speeding up whenever someone tried merging ahead of her. Then, without warning, she moved directly in front of us again. Too close. Way too close. I remember gripping the steering wheel tighter. Then her brake lights flashed red. Hard. Not normal braking. Not slowing for traffic. A complete slam. Instinct took over. I hit the brakes immediately, but there wasn't enough distance left. Tires screeched. Sophia gasped beside me. And then, bump. The impact wasn't violent. More like a heavy shove than a crash. Enough to jolt us forward against our seatbelts, but not enough to deploy airbags. For half a second, everything went silent. Then the SUV driver exploded out of her car. Not checking for injuries. Not looking at damage. Just yelling, "Oh, you hit me. You hit me." She already had her phone in her hand. That's the detail I can't stop thinking about. Most people in accidents look confused first. Shaken. Adrenaline hits them before anger does. But this woman stepped out recording immediately, like she'd rehearsed the entire moment in her head before it even happened. Sophia whispered, "Daniel, she's filming already." The woman marched toward our car, with her camera pointed straight at us. "You people always do this," she shouted. I stepped out slowly with both hands visible, trying to stay calm. Are you okay?" I asked. She ignored the question completely. "You ran into me on purpose." "That's not what happened," I said carefully. "You slammed your brakes." The woman laughed sarcastically and swung her camera toward her own bumper. "Yeah, tell that to the police." Cars passing nearby slowed as drivers stared at us. A few people parked near the gas station started watching too. I could already feel the situation slipping out of control. Sophia stepped out carefully from the passenger side, visibly nervous. The second the woman saw her, her attitude got even worse. "Oh, now you both want to act innocent," she snapped. "We're not trying to fight with you," Sophia said softly. But the woman kept talking over her loudly, making sure everyone nearby could hear. "You people think nobody notices these scams." I frowned. "What scams?" "You know exactly what I mean." Then she started making comments about immigrants and insurance fraud while recording us, with her phone only inches from our faces. I remember feeling this strange mix of anger and disbelief. Not because she was accusing us. Because she genuinely seemed convinced that being louder made her right. I tried explaining calmly. "You brake-checked us. There's no reason to stop like that in moving traffic." "How can somebody behind me accuse me?" she yelled. "You hit me. Because you slammed your brakes. And now you're threatening me." "I never threatened you." But logic didn't matter anymore. By then, she wasn't arguing to understand anything. She was performing. For the crowd. For her camera. Maybe even for the internet. More people stopped nearby. Some had phones out now too. And that terrified Sophia. She leaned toward me quietly and whispered, "What if people only see her video?" Before I could answer, the woman suddenly pointed at us again and shouted, "Tell IC to come get you." Several bystanders exchanged uncomfortable looks. Even then, Sophia tried keeping things calm. "We just want to exchange insurance information," she said carefully. But the woman waved her off dramatically. "Oh, now you want to act reasonable." I could see Sophia's hands shaking. And honestly, mine were too. Because in situations like that, truth doesn't always win immediately. The loudest person often controls the story first. 10 minutes later, police lights appeared at the intersection. And suddenly, the woman transformed. Her voice softened instantly. Her posture changed. By the time officers walked over, she sounded almost frightened. "I was just sitting in traffic," she told them calmly, "and they became aggressive after hitting me." I stared at her in disbelief. Aggressive? We hadn't even raised our voices. The officer listened carefully while writing notes on a small pad. Then he turned toward me. "What happened from your perspective?" I explained everything. The dangerous lane changes. The sudden stop. The immediate recording. All of it. The officer nodded, but his expression stayed neutral. That scared me more than anger would have. After checking both vehicles, another officer quietly said something that made my stomach drop. "Without independent evidence," he explained, "this may end up as a disputed claim." Disputed claim. 2 words. That was all it took for panic to settle into my chest. Because the woman standing 20 feet away from us looked completely confident. Like she already believed she'd won. And for the first time that night, I started wondering if she might. We barely slept that night. Sophia kept replaying the accident over and over in her head while sitting at the edge of our bed scrolling through local community pages. Every few minutes she'd stop and stare at the wall silently like she was trying to process what had happened. I understood why. The crash itself wasn't even the worst part anymore. It was the feeling that someone had intentionally turned us into villains before we even had the chance to explain ourselves. Around midnight, Sophia's phone buzzed. Then again. Then 3 more times in a row. She looked down at the screen, and her face dropped immediately. "What?" I asked. She turned the phone toward me slowly. The woman had already uploaded the video. The clip was less than 2 minutes long. Just the argument. Not the driving beforehand. Not the sudden brake check. Not her cutting across lanes aggressively. Only the part where she stood beside her car, yelling while pointing her phone at us. And somehow, even though she'd been the loudest person there, the edited version made her look calm compared to us. The caption read, "Another insurance scam attempt tonight. Thankfully, I recorded everything." Underneath it were thousands of views already climbing higher every second. Comments flooded the screen faster than I could read them. "People are insane. Good thing you recorded. Glad you stood up for yourself." Some comments were more aggressive than others, accusing us of things that never happened. Sophia locked her phone immediately. "I can't read this," she whispered. I tried reassuring her. "It's only one clip." But honestly, I was scared too. Because online, people usually react before they ask questions. And that woman knew exactly how to make herself look like the victim. She'd controlled the first version of the story. And first versions spread fast. The next morning felt even worse. My younger brother called before I even left for work. "Dude, are you okay?" he asked immediately. That question alone told me how far the clip had already traveled. Apparently someone had reposted it on multiple platforms overnight. Local accounts were sharing it with dramatic captions about road rage scammers. None of them included the beginning. None of them included the brake check. Only the confrontation. Sophia's mother called crying, terrified we were in serious legal trouble. That hit Sophia hard. She sat quietly at the kitchen table after the call ended, staring into a cup of coffee she hadn't touched. "What if everyone believes her?" she asked softly. I didn't answer right away. Because I didn't know. And that helplessness was the worst part. Not the damage to the car. Not the insurance process. The feeling that truth suddenly depended on who edited the better video. By that afternoon, our insurance company contacted us for official statements. The investigator handling the case sounded professional but cautious. He asked detailed questions. Speed, traffic conditions, lane position, braking distance, timing. Then he paused. "The other driver's statement has changed slightly from the police report," he said carefully. "That got my attention immediately." "How?" "She initially claimed she was stopped in traffic," he explained. "Now she says she slowed because of debris in the road." Sophia looked up at me instantly. There had been no debris. Not even close. The investigator continued. "She also claims you exited the vehicle aggressively after impact." I almost laughed from disbelief. Aggressive? I'd asked if she was okay before she even looked at her bumper. Still, none of it was enough yet. Because technically, rear-end collisions usually place responsibility on the driver behind. And Karen knew that. That's what made everything feel so deliberate. 2 days later, another development changed everything. A police officer called requesting additional information. At first, I thought things were getting worse. Instead, he asked, "Do either of you remember a delivery van near the intersection?" I frowned immediately. Maybe. Why? The officer explained that a delivery driver had contacted the station after seeing the viral clip online. According to him, he witnessed the SUV brake suddenly for no visible reason. My heart started pounding. Finally, someone else saw it. The officer remained careful not to promise anything, but for the first time since the crash, it felt like the story wasn't completely against us anymore. Still, Karen kept escalating online. Every day she uploaded new posts hinting that she was being targeted and silenced. She never used our names directly, but she made enough vague accusations to keep people engaged. And the comments kept feeding her confidence. At least for a while. Because eventually, people started noticing small inconsistencies. One user pointed out that her story changed 3 different times across multiple uploads. Another noticed the damage on both vehicles didn't fully match the way she described the accident. Then someone asked a simple question that spread quickly. Why did she already have a phone recording seconds after impact? That question bothered a lot of people, because once you noticed it, you couldn't ignore it. 3 days after the crash, I remembered something that honestly should have occurred to me immediately. The dashcam. I nearly ran outside to the car. Months earlier, after another driver nearly sideswiped us downtown, I'd installed a small front and rear dashcam system, mostly for peace of mind. And after the stress of the accident, I completely forgot it existed. My hands were shaking while pulling the memory card out. Sophia stood behind me silently as I opened the footage on my laptop. Then we saw it. Everything. Crystal clear. The gray SUV weaving aggressively between lanes, cutting people off, speeding forward, then suddenly moving directly in front of us. And finally, the brake check. No traffic obstruction. No debris. No reason. Just brake lights instantly flashing bright red while traffic ahead was still moving normally. Sophia covered her mouth with both hands. "Oh my God," she whispered. The footage even captured Karen jumping out of her vehicle with her phone already unlocked in recording mode before checking for damage. Watching it made my stomach turn, because it didn't look emotional. It looked prepared. That same evening, something even more unexpected happened. Another video surfaced online. Different angle, different vehicle, another driver's dashcam. This one captured the SUV from farther back, showing how aggressively she'd been driving for several minutes before the collision. And unlike Karen's edited clip, this footage had timestamps. Suddenly, the internet conversation changed. Fast. People started posting side-by-side comparisons between Karen's version and the new footage. Comments that once supported her became skeptical, then critical, then investigative. Internet detectives began digging through her public social media accounts. And that's when somebody found old posts where she joked about getting paid after accidents and called insurance companies easy money. The screenshots spread everywhere. The mood online shifted overnight. The woman who originally looked confident and composed now looked manipulative, calculated, possibly dishonest. And for the first time since that intersection, Karen stopped posting. But the internet hadn't stopped watching. In fact, millions of people had just become interested in finding out what really happened. And the deeper they looked, the worse things got for her. By the following week, the entire situation had become bigger than any of us expected. What started as a small traffic collision had turned into a full internet spectacle. And Karen was losing control of it. The insurance investigation intensified almost immediately after the dashcam footage surfaced. At first, Karen had sounded completely confident during every interaction. According to the investigator, she spoke like someone convinced the case was already settled in her favor. But confidence started disappearing once the evidence piled up. The company requested complete timestamp records, unedited video files, traffic camera footage from nearby intersections, and detailed written statements from everyone involved. That's when the contradictions became impossible to ignore. In one statement, Karen claimed she had stopped because traffic suddenly froze ahead. But traffic camera footage showed cars continuing to move normally. Then she claimed she slowed down because an object rolled into the road. But none of the videos showed debris anywhere near her SUV. Then came the biggest issue: the timestamps. Her uploaded clip had clearly been edited before posting online. Metadata revealed portions had been trimmed out only minutes before she uploaded the video publicly. The investigator handling the case didn't accuse her directly of anything serious over the phone, but his tone changed completely. He no longer sounded uncertain. He sounded suspicious. And apparently, Karen noticed that too, because suddenly she stopped cooperating as confidently as before. Meanwhile, online discussion around the video exploded again. But this time, people weren't supporting her. They were criticizing her. The full roadside argument clip spread across multiple platforms, and viewers heard the comments she originally tried leaving out. People focused less on the accident itself and more on the way she spoke to us during the confrontation, especially the threats and assumptions she made about immigrants and scams. The backlash grew fast. Still, not everyone reacted responsibly online. Some people crossed lines by trying to dig into her private life or harass her directly. And honestly, that part made me uncomfortable. As angry as I was, I didn't want revenge mobs or strangers ruining someone's life for entertainment. I just wanted the truth acknowledged. That's it. But public opinion had clearly shifted. One comment under a repost of the dashcam footage stuck with me. She didn't lose people because she got angry. She lost them because she tried manipulating the story before the facts came out. That summed up the entire situation perfectly. A few days later, Karen finally returned online. This time, her tone was completely different. Gone was the yelling confidence from the original clip. Gone were the aggressive accusations. Instead, she uploaded a quiet, emotional video claiming she had been overwhelmed and afraid after the crash. She insisted she never intended for the situation to become viral and claimed people were misunderstanding her comments. But there was one thing she still refused to do: take responsibility. Even in the apology-style video, she blamed stress, traffic, anxiety, everything except her own actions. And the internet noticed. Again, because once trust disappears, people start paying attention to every detail. The comments underneath her video were filled with the same question repeated over and over. Why didn't you post the full footage first? She never answered. After that, her upload stopped completely. About 2 weeks after the accident, we received the final update from the insurance company. I'll never forget that phone call. Sophia and I were sitting at the kitchen table eating takeout because neither of us felt like cooking anymore. The entire ordeal had drained us emotionally. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered immediately. The investigator got straight to the point. After reviewing dashcam footage, witness statements, traffic footage, vehicle damage analysis, and inconsistencies in Karen's reports, the company determined we were not responsible for causing the collision. I closed my eyes the second he said it. Not because I was surprised, because I was relieved. For days, it felt like our lives had been hanging underneath a cloud created by someone else's lies. And finally, that cloud was lifting. The investigator also mentioned that Karen's claim had triggered an additional internal review due to conflicting evidence provided during the process. He didn't explain further. He didn't need to. Sophia started crying quietly beside me the moment I hung up. Not dramatic crying. Exhausted crying. The kind that comes after your body finally realizes the danger has passed. Later that evening, I walked outside alone and sat inside the car for a while. The same car that had suddenly become evidence in a fight we never asked to be part of. I looked at the tiny dashcam mounted near the windshield and honestly felt strange thinking about how important that little device had become. Without it, who knows what would have happened. Karen controlled the narrative first because she controlled the loudest moment. She understood something dangerous about modern life. People often believe the first clip they see, not the full story, just the loudest version of it. And for a while, it almost worked. A month later, the internet had mostly moved on to the next viral controversy. That's how online outrage works. Fast, temporary, disposable. But for us, the experience changed something permanently. Sophia became nervous whenever aggressive drivers got too close behind us. I noticed myself checking mirrors more often than before. And strangely enough, I also started thinking differently about cameras. Before all this, I saw phones and recordings as protection, proof, safety. But now I understood something else. Cameras don't automatically reveal truth. Sometimes they hide it. Sometimes they only show carefully edited fragments designed to manipulate people emotionally before facts ever appear. And that's exactly what Karen tried to do. She thought recording us would guarantee control over the story. She thought confidence could overpower reality. She thought louder meant believable. But in the end, the same technology she used to accuse us became the thing that exposed her. 3 cameras, 3 angles, 3 different perspectives revealing the same truth. The brake check, the lies, the performance, everything. And honestly, that's the part one still think about most. Not the crash itself. Not the yelling. Not even the viral attention. Just how close someone came to rewriting reality. If nobody else had pressed record. The final thing I ever saw posted about the situation came from someone online who summarized the entire story in one sentence. She thought the camera would protect her lies. Instead, it recorded the truth. And after everything that happened, I couldn't think of a better ending than that.